Do you doubt yourself more than trust yourself? Whether it's a big decision like whether or not to start that business, or a small decision like what to order for dinner. If you tend to rest in indecision, wavering back and forth, maybe until someone else makes the decision for you, today's exercise is made for you. Today, I am sharing a step-by-step process to help you build trust and confidence in yourself to not only make any decisions that may be in front of you at the moment, but also set a strong foundation for you to make confident, authentic decisions moving forward. Before diving in, if you want to see these steps laid out for you, download the accompanying PDF by clicking the blog link below. While you're down there, if you are especially excited about this topic, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a free alignment training posted here every single Tuesday. The process I'm about to share with you may seem really simple. That's the good news. And that might lead you to question the process in itself. So before we even dive into it, here are a few direct quotes from my clients who use this process with me every day. One shared, "I finally reached resolution." Another, that she had tried many other forms of coaching that paled in comparison to this coaching process. And lastly, this process's ability to hold space for vulnerability and therefore self-discovery was unparalleled. By the end of our time together, one of my clients shared, "I feel content and powerful in my own life." This process works. And again, it can work for you in decisions big and small. In fact, if you are in a place of extreme self-doubt where it's really hard to make even the smallest decisions, I encourage you to start small. Start bite-size. And yes, it will build on each other so you can also make those big decisions with confidence and in alignment with what's true for you. Think of it like weights at a gym. Are you trying right now to pick up the 50-pound dumbbells when maybe we should start with the 5 pounds? Maybe there's some ego or limiting beliefs coming in that's dissuading you from starting small. I encourage you to do what you can to set that aside, because when we start small, not only does it work and we see the direct results immediately after starting with those small weights, but also we get stronger and eventually you will be able to pick up those 50-pound dumbbells, metaphorically or literally. So the process I'm sharing with you today is called the alignment journey. And this process is the basis of my book coming out in just a few months. So stay tuned to get even more in-depth explanations and stories and examples of each of these steps. And in my book and in this process, not only do I encourage you to start small, but I emphasize the importance of doing this process over and over and over again, which again is the good news, not the thing to get overwhelmed about. It means that you don't have to get it right the first time. It means you don't have to start with the biggest thing on your mind and make a decision right here and now. Start small, learn the process, learn what it feels like, learn more about yourself, and you'll grow and evolve as we go. So in my book and today, I use imagery to explain this process and to capture it with even greater detail. To get a sense of where we are and where we're headed, this imagery, this metaphor is that we start in a river and we eventually see that there are other possibilities, there are other landscapes around us to choose from. We set our eye, our direction on a mountain, climb that mountain and reach the top, to repeat again and again and again. So step one of that process is to create space. Think of that metaphor or adage that we don't know the water we're swimming in. So right now we have beliefs, we have experiences and perspectives and habits and ways of being that we may not even be aware that we're experiencing, that we're partaking in. But even before we can get awareness, we need to create space from the water that we are swimming in. Depending on the thing in front of you where you want to build more self-trust, this river could be an example of a relationship that you're in that seems okay, but maybe there's something that you want to question or at least bring to light. It could be a career path that you entered years and years ago and you haven't asked yourself if it still lights you up and brings you the energy and excitement and fulfillment that you thought it would. Maybe it's a location where you're living. And again, all of these things are pretty big, so maybe it's something really small, like, do I want to take an hour off this afternoon? And your initial answer to that question is likely a little bit muddied by all of your beliefs and experiences and habits that fill your calendar, fill your space currently. So we're in the river, and step one is to create space by exiting the river and finding a riverbank. Literally, creating space, this first step, may mean taking a few deep breaths. It may mean stepping away from your desk and going on a walk. It may mean entering a meditation. or going on vacation, or even just looking away from your computer screen or your phone screen for a minute. So long as that question is small enough, is bite-sized enough, and you create that space in a way that feels natural and opening for you, your mind can open to new perspectives and ideas, and you can hear yourself rather than the chaos that sometimes surrounds us. Take that breath and listen in for that insight. That's the second step of this process, is clarity. In our metaphor, clarity comes when we brush the sand or the water from our eyes on this riverbank and we actually see, maybe for the first time, what surrounds us. So this is for the first time, potentially in a while, when you can hear your voice, when you can hear your instincts. No decision has to be made in this space. This step is simply to listen, to tune in and hear what exists. As you hear that seed of insight, the next step, when you're ready, is to set your direction. So in this metaphor, we have exited the river, we're on the riverbank creating space, we wiped the sand and water from our eyes, we saw what surrounded us, and then we realize, I'm intrigued by that mountain over there. I think that's the direction I want to go. This third step, setting the direction, is a full step. You don't need to take action. You don't need to make a plan. All you are doing is admitting what you desire, is tuning in to that intrigue, to that curiosity, to the direction of where you think you want to head next. And then let yourself settle with that realization. Sometimes we rush right into action, and that's not necessary. Take a breath. Allow yourself to feel certain that that is a direction you want to at least pursue. Build up the motivation and the courage to head in that direction when the time comes. And it will, because step 4 is all about action. Not only looking at that mountain, but now taking one step forward. Or maybe your action step isn't a literal step forward or toward this thing and away from what was, but it's creating a plan. It's outlining what you will do to get there. That is also action. I'll use the example of when I wanted a dog. So I had already created space, experienced clarity, and set my direction of wanting a dog by this point in this mini journey. My first action step after that wasn't to just go pick up a dog. It was to gather the supplies that I needed to get this dog I knew I was going to get. I purchased a leash and the food bowls and the food and the treats and the crate. I organized all of it before getting this dog. That said, my brother recently adopted a dog, and they were surprised at how quickly this dog came into their life. So they didn't necessarily have that time to prepare in the way that they thought they would. The crate and the supplies came after the dog was already in their lives. So I'm not saying you have to prepare at this step of action, but I'm saying that preparation can also be action. As long as you are moving toward this direction in some way, that is what this step is all about. As you start taking action, going to step 5, which is to experience the ride and to trust this part of the journey. This is a whole step in the process of building self-trust, because after we have already done the preceding 4 steps of creating space, experiencing clarity, setting our direction, and starting action, sometimes we assume that the celebration, the joy, the elation, the ease will come immediately after that. And that's not always the case. Sometimes there's hardship or new challenges or new insights. We learn some other aspect of this that we hadn't foreseen. I include this as part of the journey, as part of the process, because if we didn't know that this was part of the process, if we didn't anticipate the ride, in what I call it, then sometimes we sabotage the whole plan and we no longer trust ourselves because we experience a challenge, and therefore, can I trust any other part of this? The answer to that question is yes, you can. And this is something to expect even when you follow your highest truth, even when you take aligned action toward a desire you have already clarified and created space for. When challenges come, when unforeseen events happen, that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. That doesn't mean that your instincts are not trustworthy. That means that you are experiencing life, and this is part of it. Of course, you can always circle back and create space to again experience clarity if you are questioning it. But the point here is that if a challenge or a new insight or something unexpected occurs, we don't need to go back to the beginning. We don't need to lose trust with the entire process. We can simply take a breath, remember this is part of life, and continue forward as long as it's still overwhelmingly feeling good. Because as you trust that ride, As you follow the journey, you stay true to your insights, you continue forward or sideways or whatever that ride, that journey looks like for you. Eventually, we reach that sixth step, which is to celebrate. Celebrate whether you have reached that metaphorical summit of the mountain or a lookout. Celebrate whether a big action occurred, a big outcome, an event, an opportunity, possibility fell into your lap, or something so small, like just feeling a little bit better, feeling that weight lift off your shoulders. Celebrate that. The celebration is key to continuing on this journey, to continuing to trust ourselves. If we don't celebrate, we can forget or lose sight or not realize that we are making progress toward the greater vision we have for our life or we have for this specific decision. So in some way, dedicate a part of this process to yourself, to celebration, to feel good, to enjoy the outcomes big and small that are coming because of your self-trust. And then the seventh step is to begin again. So I alluded earlier that this process is to be repeated over and over and over again because we intentionally start with small, bite-sized decisions, small, bite-sized experiences of self-trust, of listening to our voice, of stepping forward toward it. And because in life, we continually evolve and experience new things. And so there's always going to be opportunity to begin again, to learn more, to expand more, to experience new things. We will gain new perspectives. So from start to finish, this self-trust exercise is 7 steps. The first step, we're in the river. It's to create space from that river. Find a riverbank. To then experience clarity and see your surroundings. To then, step 3, set a direction, what intrigues you. And rest with that direction. There's no need to do anything else at that stage. In step 4, we take action toward that direction, toward that desire. And that can be action in the sense of plans or in the sense of physical movement toward this thing and away from what was. Step 5 is to enjoy and trust the ride because a ride will follow this action. A ride will follow this process. This is your opportunity to continue trusting rather than being thrown off by something unexpected or challenging. Step 6 is to celebrate no matter what. There is always something to celebrate, and this celebration is essential to continuing our momentum, our movement forward. Celebrate how good it feels. Celebrate to no longer experience something negative. Celebrate an outcome, a possibility, an opportunity that landed in your lap because of your courageous action and self-trust. And then, lastly, begin again. Do it again and again and again, from the little weights to the big things. And every time you enter this cycle, you will get more familiar with the process. You will learn new things about yourself. You will experience clarity like the client testimonials I shared earlier. You will see new opportunities. You will get more excited about this journey rather than intimidated by the process of self-trust and making courageous, authentic decisions. Again, I dive deep into this process in my book that's coming out later this year in 2021. So if you want to learn more, stay tuned. Definitely follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, subscribe here so that you have access to this immediately when it comes out. In summary of today's video right here on YouTube, if you want to follow this process and have it tangibly in your hand, I have a free PDF download for you, linked below. If you have not already, take my Intention Action quiz to discover your strength and help you to navigate this process with even more awareness of how you individually function and thrive. If you have questions about the process, about this book, comment below. I'm here to answer all of it. And lastly, for more alignment trainings free on this channel every Tuesday, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and bonus, share this video with a friend you think would benefit from the 7-step self-trust process. That is all from me this week. My name is Maren Lauka. I am the owner of Yes and I empower you to free yourself from limiting beliefs and false expectations so you can own your potential, experience true fulfillment, and make your positive impact. Next week, I am sharing journal prompts to foster relationship health, which is highly requested in my membership community, so I am confident you will benefit as well.